for Scholastic.
You did?
I did. Years ago. I wrote a column on the special needs column, Scholastic Early Childhood Today.
Yeah.
Each month I write something else, like I could send you the articles I wrote.
I'd love to see that.
Just like there was one helping Jackie out, like other children, like let's say a child with special needs comes into a classroom, and how to talk to other kids about the child with special needs, you know, to help her feel integrated, and how, you know, other children benefit really when there is a child who, you know, has special needs. It's like every child has particular needs.
So that's a very big question, an important question, and that is when you have someone with special needs come into a situation, like from the person's point of view, they want to be invisible.
Yeah.
They don't want to be singled out at, oh, here's my special needs person, and we have to act differently because this person's here.
Yeah.
And yet you want to be accommodating. So it's an interesting question of what to do, or how to accommodate. So I'll give you one example.
Yeah.
This is a kid old enough to try to get relationships with women. So the mother asked me, you know, when this happens in my circle, so she's a very social individual, you know, she has meetings and she socializes all the time, kind of a wealthy family, and they have this all the time. She'll often tell this girl, who may be the daughter of, you know, somebody who she knows, that her kid has special needs or has Aspergers, and she asked me my opinion. When I go out with him and we meet young women, do I tell them that, you know, he has Asperger's, he has problems? With him, in this case, I said absolutely not.
Yeah.
And see how he does with them looking at him with fresh eyes.
Right.
Not accommodating eyes.
Right, not like already biasing them to do certain things.
Right, right. And then if it doesn't work out, let him learn from that experience, because that's what I'm doing, and it really worked out well. Here's an interesting, and then I'll let you talk. Here's another case, same age. We sat down with a couple of women at for dinner. All right, just that's how it's set up. We didn't know who they were, and he's an artist. I may have told you about him. He could draw your face in 10 minutes, and it'll look great. He's really good. Yeah. So as a way of him introducing himself, he said, "Hey, do you want me to draw your picture?"
Right.
And he took whatever he had there, a napkin or whatever, and you know, he drew her picture, and you know, maybe it didn't look exactly like her, but you know, it's pretty good. I mean, like I couldn't do it. And she said, "Oh, this is terrible. Looks nothing like me."
Oh.
Right?
Right.
And I don't know. It's hard to read people. I don't know if that's a way of flirting, or if that's a way of just making him feel bad, or that's a way of him playing. Yeah. Which I think it was. Yes. Kind of her way of playing.
Yes.
And so okay, and then he tells her a few minutes later. That he has Asperger's. And she felt so bad. If I knew that, I wouldn't have said that. Two things happened. She genuinely, really felt bad that she said something to me if maybe hurt this kid that is on the spectrum. And then the whole relationship. We're there for, talking with them for like a half an hour. It was we really had real conversation. Yeah. You know, it was a whole like, you know, having it, maybe more. It might have been 45. You know, we're just having an evening with them, or an afternoon with them, and after that, the synergy was gone. The connectedness, the energy was gone.
After he mentioned that he has
Aspergers. After he mentioned that, you know, so it's and that. Then it was over because there was an awkwardness.
So she felt really bad.
She felt really bad, and it wasn't like I feel really bad, but it's okay.
Yeah.
She felt really bad and it really wasn't okay.
Yeah, so that made it hard for her to continue in
Yeah.
the spontaneity. She
Yeah.
probably was still
Right.
thinking about that.
Right. And from my point of view, let's say she's right. It
Yeah.
made him feel bad, and he has self-esteem problems. From my point of view, I want to deal with him and let him deal with his self-esteem problems.
Yeah.
Use that real situation as a springboard to, feeling good about yourself, overcoming something. Not everybody is going to like everything you do.
So it's like facing the challenge that, he or other people may fear, like, I won't be able to deal with this. Or she may feel, he's such a terrible insult, he won't be able to deal with it, I won't be able to deal with my guilt, and who knows what. But actually experiencing it and seeing, like, he's doing fine. Okay, for a little bit he might have felt insulted or hurt, but...
Well, you're bringing up, I was going to give you another example of another kid who says hello to people, and some people may not like that. And some people may like that. So we've had both. But you're bringing up a really important point, and that is kind of educating the rest of the world. She shouldn't feel bad. So she needs to get over that. And she needs to feel comfortable with this population.
Yeah, or she may have like biases about, what it means to have a special need or have Aspergers. Like, she may think it's something, have this whole different notion than what it really is.
Totally,
to be
totally.
Like in that situation.
Right, and it's serious and it's real. Like after one of these people who were socially isolated committed some violent crime, I don't think it was Adam Lanza, but it was something like that. My kid, who's just you may not believe it, but he's like the nicest kid.
Yeah.
And he's a lawyer, so he's very fair-minded.
Why wouldn't I believe it?
Because I'm talking about my own kid, so but really, no, he really is like that. He's just a very fair thinker, because lawyers always have to think of things from everyone's point of view. He's just non-judgmental. That's what I should say.
Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, is it?
So he tells me, if I knew a kid was Asperger's, a young adult was Asperger's, that I would kind of be a little afraid, because they have this, and he didn't say stigma, but that's what it was, because that's how it's portrayed on the news, and he would be afraid, or have that instinct.
So it's like people may tiptoe around, saying different things that actually, as long as they're not like hurtful, statements, I think being more natural and inquiring, it gives the chance for someone with Asperger's or any, type of, learning difference or disability to, correct those stereotypes. And also to feel more accepted. Like, this is who I am, and I don't have to, worry about the way that other people are going to see me.
And if they just act naturally and respectfully, and I think it's just good for the relationship. See, that's one of the keys that people in the field are very conscious about, that you want that relationship, like, oh, okay, he has Asperger's, he's a little different, but I'm going to be myself.
Yes.
Act and react the way I would to, anybody, or to him when he does certain things, and he needs to, learn or accept it or respond, and now you have a relationship. Now you could be yourselves.
It's more real.
And that's what we need. That's what the situation needs. And then you have a situation where there's a mutual respect and a mutual acceptance. the Asperger people have to accept you too.
Yeah.
So that's, and it's hard, it sounds easy, but it's difficult for people not to filter themselves or not to do this or not to do that. So it's, I don't know, there's a balance there.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody, really wants to be able to feel free to be themselves and to be accepted for that.
Now here's what, now that we're putting this on the table, there are certain things that the Asperger's person would kind of react to or not get or not understand, double meaning or something. And they're just perfect targets for being made fun of.
Yeah.
Just perfect,
Yeah.
And they are, and it's it's just sort of too bad that that's what evolved.
Yeah, I mean, I think sensitivity on other people's part is important, but I'm wondering how can you help the child or person with Asperger's to, to deal with that or take that in and not feel so badly. Like they may feel like they're being laughed at,
Right.
And they may not get the nuances of
Right.
Statements. I mean, I myself often take things very literally, and I don't know exactly, sometimes it takes me a while to get a joke, and then I just I want to understand this joke, I don't get it, and So I feel badly about that, oh my God,
yeah.
What did I miss?
Yeah, what am I, stupid? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's an answer to that, but what often happens in cases like that, where people are making fun of this guy and they're laughing at him, all he could do is react to being laughed at.
Right.
Because he doesn't know why they're laughing at him.
Right. It's painful. It could be painful.
And it could be painful. It could be any, then his reaction could be any of the above.
Right.
Yelling out, violence. They push. Now he gets in trouble if if it's a high school and he starts hitting or lashing out or yelling or throwing a table. You're right, or do nothing and just feel hurt. Whatever. But inevitably in real life, when this happens to me as a therapist coming to me, those people are usually his friends. Who are doing this. These are people he knows, he sees every day.
So that you might be...
A stranger doesn't make fun of him.
Yeah.
Right? A person he meets for the first time.
Be more angry.
Right, well, so this is what I do. It's a really complicated thing to resolve. Because now you want him to get the joke, ultimately.
Yeah.
And that means sort of changing the way his fundamental Asperger...
There's a cognitive component.
So it's okay, that might happen, and maybe that's your ultimate goal, but that's not going to happen overnight to change this very nature of Asperger's, which is part of what we do anyway. But so what I try to do, he feels bad, and then I say, they're his friends. You see, see that's, he's trying to understand what a friend is.
Yeah.
And they're my friends. And what I often say in the context of other things, they're really not your friends if they're doing this. But you can't say that a negative without having a positive.
Right.
So I won't say that until I know of a person.
Yes.
I'll go to his school, I'll go to his class, I'll take him out, and I'll say, I went out to a meetup group with somebody and there were 25 people there, and I just, that person would be perfect. You may have to, get a good match, or they may know somebody or like a girl and he doesn't want to approach her, whatever. They're not your friends, but that person, that person, there's a real genuine relationship there. And if he could fill that void of needing a friend, almost by definition, these people on the spectrum don't have friends, almost by definition.
So that could feel even, more difficult when this person feels teased or humiliated, but if he has a friend then he knows he's not alone, and they're,
Right.
you know.
That's not being done. In general, that is not being done. When you have a person, you're probably too young to remember the Korean shooter in Virginia Tech.
When was that?
It must have been, 20 years ago, maybe. I mean, before your time.
Yeah. We won't say how old I am.
He shot many people at the college, Virginia Tech College. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
I'm bad with names. And I had this Asperger person, and I have this on tape. You'd be fascinated.
Mm.
I wanted these tapes to go on 60 Minutes.
Yes.
Because he knew why this person was shooting these other people.
Mm.
And it's exactly what we're talking about now. He never had a friend. And this person, my client, who has Asperger's, got it. Because he's the same way.
Yeah, well, a lot of these people who we find out afterwards who shoot in the schools, and these, youngsters are totally alienated, not even one friend.
But I would really, this is one of my things I would like to do among 100 things.
Yes.
But if somebody approached me, at a university or something, I have a sense of how you can methodically teach this kid or have people be friends with this kid.
Mm.
And you have to do it deliberately.
Yeah.
It's not going to just happen. That's the thing with what we do as we intervene. How many parents say, "Look, he's just going to learn he's going to learn from his own mistakes." Well, these kids don't.
I think this should be part of the school, curriculum, rather than like putting so much emphasis on, the test scores and all the pressure that kids feel, with learning today, to have a built-in component on teaching children, responsible ways to help other people. I mean, ethics or
what was it?
Ethics.
Ethics.
Like just socially oriented, programs. And I know it is part of some curriculums in terms of teaching about differences, children with differences, but really something much more deeper and more profound, that really teaches, like, put yourself in the other person's shoes, doing deeds of kindness, like really trying to understand what other people are feeling, like empathy. I don't know, I mean, a lot of this stuff is learned in one's family growing up, but through modeling or doing good deeds. I mean, children, learn. But I think it's wired in. I mean, you see babies who are empathic with other babies. They hear a baby cry, like on the airplane. You go on an airplane, you go on LL, you hear a lot of babies crying. You go on a plane, hear a baby cry, then there's a whole chorus of babies crying because they're really empathic, I think, to
Interesting.
babies. There have probably been studies about that, with the crying.
How about laughing?
And laughing is contagious.
Does it work? It works
laughing
that
is
way too.
Contagious. Yeah, a lot of emotions are contagious.
So we should bring, or the airplane should supply a baby laughing machine.
Definitely not a baby crying machine. But so I think, babies, children are genuinely, I think, not generous and empathic.
So in addition to that, the ethics class and learning from families and all that, see, here's the question. It used to be the $64,000 question.
What is it now?
The
$64 billion.
Here's the question that has never been adequately answered, and that is, how do you prevent an Adam Lanza with Newtown? How do you prevent these shootings?
Yeah.
How do you know the possible issues and problems of social isolation before they happen?
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
do something about it. So then prove your ethics
Yeah.
and empathy and all your theoretical thing. Do it with that person on campus. Do it with those two people in high school.
Yeah.
Let's have a program for those people who are at risk.
I think that the children who are, let's say, not acting out, not expressing overtly aggressive behavior, are probably the ones to be more worried about. You know, the ones who don't act out but they internalize. And I mean, it could be a combination, but I'm just saying that the ones who, you know, don't create big commotions, they might be the ones who are, you know, plotting all kinds of.
So, you know, people have heard that before. You have to be careful of the quiet ones. Now, but you're a clinical psychologist, so coming from you means different, something different from. So tell me why you think that's true.
Well, I just think that it's the ones who act out, they often get the treatment. You know, they get the help oftentimes. They're more, you know, they're clearly the ones who get more attention because they're really disrupting the classroom.
So they can still have the same potential of hurting somebody. It's not because they're holding it in and they're quiet. The quiet people are inherently more dangerous. It's because they all could be dangerous, but at least the people who are acting out are getting some kind of help, getting attention.
Yeah, and I'm not saying everyone who, you know, doesn't act out or internalizes is, you know, you have to worry enormously about them, but I think that if someone is excessively quiet, doesn't have friends, I think, like, if teachers had the time and resources to really get to know every student in the classroom, you know, and pay attention to everybody, it would make a big difference. I think a lot of children fall through the cracks. They're not getting the attention they need at home, nor in school, nor in the community.
But, yes, but I wouldn't put the burden on the teachers to define or to discriminate who's, you know, possible at risk and dangerous. You know, now we have crowdsourcing.
Yeah.
Right? We have the ways and every, you know. Yes. You could get that information probably more reliably from a roommate, from people who try to be friends with him. Hey, I try to shake hands. He's never shook hands with me. He always looks the other way whenever I approach him.
Yeah.
See, that would be more valuable than a teacher with whatever, 100 kids, 30 kids in the class, and it's college.
So it's
see, right? Or, you know, that. So I think that if there were a system with those bits of, you know, anonymous, you know, sources, right?
Or
do you know what I mean?
Even the parents of a child's, you know, friend who notices things. I mean, I
right. And just collect. I mean, this is the data. It's the data collection era of the universe.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Right? Why don't we collect data on this sort of have some logarithm?
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good point. And teachers, definitely, they shouldn't be the only ones to, you know, to be responsible or to notice this. Teachers are just one, but I think the whole community, I mean, everybody who knows a child, you know, is very silent, doesn't seem to have friends.
Right.
Wherever the information comes, it
could
should
be from parents. You know, and this information would be really valuable. And then the second part is what to do about it. But at least we should have this information where, you know, a lot of people seem to be pointing to this person as, you know, let's do something about. No one's done anything up until this point, probably because he's at risk.
Yeah.
So let's find a way of doing something.
I think that after the shootings, a lot of times the police and different authorities, you know, people in the school will say he exhibited this and that. There were these signs that weren't reported. People notice things, but it's all after the fact.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that whenever people should be educated to share, you know, these impressions they have to somebody.
Yeah.
Like they should be part of the curriculum.
And there should be some
awareness.
I don't know. I guess it's some algorithm. I guess it's called. Where, you know, where I mean, when you think of ways when there's an accident, a cop on the side of the road,
Yeah.
you're not always right. So there must be, some kind of algorithm that if 30 people say there's a cop, then it comes up.
Yes.
It can't come up on your screen right away.
Yeah.
But maybe 4 o'clock in the morning when there are 3 cars going by every hour, maybe your one click would put it on the screen. Right? There has to. So it's sort of the same thing. Just because it's reported that this girl doesn't say hello to me, maybe it's really not true. Maybe there's some kind of issue between that girl and this girl, and they're trying to, get somebody in trouble or put somebody on some list. But if 30 people would say that, and you know what I mean, you could probably have. It's not such a difficult way of knowing that. Hey, let's keep an eye. Let's do something.
I think there's the possibility with the state of technology today, and people going and like all this high tech going on, and young people